Welcome back for episode 10 of Free Thoughts from Freedom Chiropractic and Rehab. This week's quote of the week comes from Bill Watterson. Now, you may not know his name, but you definitely know his work. He is the author and artist of the Calvin and Hobbes series. So he has been around in American newspapers for decades. I mean, I remember reading his books as a kid. But the quote that he said that I want to share with you is that we're so busy watching out for what's just ahead of us that we don't take time to enjoy where we are. And he's absolutely right. We all know that we look to the future. We plan for the future. We want to make sure we do everything we can to make sure that the future is the best that it can be. But in doing that, sometimes we forget to take a look at where we are now and be grateful for the things that we have in the moment. When I read this quote, it reminded me of one of my favorite movies from the 80s, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. What a great movie. And he has a line in there where he says that life moves pretty fast. And if we don't stop to smell the roses, we might just miss it. And he's absolutely right too, right? So don't be so caught up in planning for the future that you forget to enjoy the present. Now I want to talk about my favorite beverage, coffee. Now I was late to the game on this one. I didn't really start drinking coffee until I was in my mid-30s. I blame it on my dad. He showed up at my house one day with a Keurig, and it started from there. So I said to myself, if I'm going to drink coffee, I'm going to drink it as healthy as possible. So I don't put any milk or sugar or anything like that in it. I just drink it black. I know that there are health benefits. I've read about the impact that it has on our antioxidants and on anti-inflammatory processes in the body. And I know that there's also some risks with drinking too much caffeine, so we try to limit that. But it also shows benefits on decreasing the risk of heart failure, decreasing Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease, also decreases the risk of colon cancer, limits the likelihood of strokes when we drink it consistently. So having a cup here and there doesn't typically show as much benefit as having them consistently. Recently, some research came out that showed that it actually has a positive impact on our gut microbiome as well. It helps to increase the healthy bacteria in our gut, which allows us to process our food more efficiently. So again, all of these things add up to say, hey, coffee is not so bad. Now, that being said, we don't want to drink too much. So the FDA recommends that we drink somewhere up to around 4 cups per day. That usually results in around 400 milligrams of caffeine, which is what they recommend as the total we consume in a day. So this is just a bit about why I love my coffee so much. Hope you guys enjoy yours too. This week's good news comes out of Scotland. I want to share the research that I came across. So this study showed that they were able to eliminate, that's right, 0 cases of cervical cancer in a specific group of women. They tracked this group of women for about 17 years. What made these women special? They were all fully vaccinated for the HPV virus at age 12 to 13. Now, it's pretty well known that HPV is the major cause of cervical cancer in most women. So this is an amazing breakthrough. So understanding how this vaccine works and how it can prevent episodes or cases of cervical cancer for these women is pretty amazing. Ironically, they're also seeing the same thing happening in Australia. They say that they're on track to eliminate cervical cancer by the year 2035. So this is one of those moments where we're like, all right, we have to trust the science, but I want you to talk to your doctors about your daughters receiving their HPV vaccine. It's not my decision to make for you, but if that vaccine can save them from having to go through cervical cancer, I certainly think it's worth looking into.